Hey folks, so the purpose of today's video is to introduce you to the Divine Alchemy meditation and to give you a little bit more of the teaching and intention behind this practice. So we'll start with the practice itself. To actually do the Divine Alchemy meditation, you consider some form of suffering. So this might arise as an image or as an emotion or as an idea. And as you consider that form of suffering, you breathe it in. So as you're inhaling, you draw that image deeper into yourself. Hold it within you at the top of your inhale. Imagine that within your body, it's converting into divine love. And then as you exhale, release that divine love out into the world. So it's pretty simple. I actually stumbled upon this in my own inner experience when I was practicing centering prayer. And an image arose for me that I couldn't let go. And so I began to breathe it in and eventually had this experience of what I'm now calling divine alchemy. You might get hung up on the word alchemy a little bit. That just means to transform. It's a pretty word that means transform, and that's why I've chosen it to describe this practice. You may have also heard of similar practices. There's the loving kindness meditation, or Tonglen, coming from the Buddhist tradition, which is very similar. In that practice, you also consider a form of suffering. You breathe it in, and as you exhale, you imagine releasing the remedy to whatever it is that you breathed in. So if you're breathing in conflict, you might breathe out peace. It's a very valuable practice. Mine is a little bit different in that I basically think that divine love is the antidote to everything. And so that's what we use as I teach this practice. The other primary difference is in the teaching or the use of a guided meditation around this practice. If you're to go into your own silent space and to use this practice yourself, it is likely going to be very much like a loving kindness meditation. But if you join with me in this practice using one of my guided meditations, you'll find that I address a specific topic or form of suffering in each session. For instance, the most recent Divine Alchemy that I posted addressed the fears that are associated with the COVID-19 crisis. So we breathed in the fear of sickness, the fear of pain, the fear of loss, the fear of scarcity, the fear of hunger and of tragedy and of death. And so we use the practice to address the fears that are most prominent in our experience right now. Now, I don't want to get too woo-woo on anyone, but what if this practice were real? What if it wasn't just an exercise of our imagination, but we were actually using the instrument of our body, which is the only one we really have on this planet, drawing in sources of suffering in the world and converting them in a real way into the love of God, and then spreading it into the air around us, into the literal atoms of our world. That sounds pretty powerful to me. I mean, the potential reach of something like that is significant. And what if it wasn't just you and me practicing this, but what if hundreds of thousands of people got together to alchemize pain and suffering in the world into love and to spread it? The potential healing force of that blows my mind. The additional benefit of this practice is in its daily application. So as I was using this method in a space of meditation, it started to flood over into my daily life. And I found I could be going about my normal daily rhythms and then become aware of having negative feelings or thoughts or sensations. And as I became aware of those, to breathe in that form of suffering and then to exhale it as divine love. So I could be cooking or driving and practice this as a way of creating distance between whatever my suffering is or my perceived suffering is and converting that into a source of love. And so that accomplishes some important things. Number one, that extraction of myself from my narrative is foundational in any spiritual work that you're doing. It's the way that we begin to cultivate our witness so that we are not our thoughts, feelings, or emotions, but that we're able to watch those and to not allow them to dictate our behavior. So let's say you're experiencing frustration with your spouse or partner. And so in any given moment, you might start to breathe that frustration in and exhale it as divine love. And you may find the nature of this practice is that what starts out as frustration starts to evolve. And so not only do you have the chance to step away, to separate yourself from your frustration, but you also have an opportunity to examine what's really underneath the frustration. And so it starts to evolve until eventually, as you're breathing in frustration, other thoughts and images are arising until you get down to the fact that you're just really irked that your partner never loads the dishwasher the way you think it should be loaded. And so there's an insight and an awareness, a deeper awareness that can arise through using this practice as a daily application. And within that deeper awareness, you have a chance to choose a different behavior. So the practice calms you down enough to funnel your energy in a different direction. In closing, I hope that this has been a helpful overview into the theory and the intention, as well as the benefits of the divine alchemy practice as a meditation and also as a daily application. I'll be offering future guided meditations, and I'd encourage you to check out the one that's currently posted addressing our fears around the COVID-19 crisis. Thank you for all of your efforts, your solidarity, and your love during this challenging time. Amen and namaste.